Quest for Camelot was a movie which, like any other licensable franchise, was bound to have a video game tie-in. I typically stayed away from these type of games even as a kid, so I'm not really sure why I had this one growing up. I may have gotten it as a gift, but my folks never really got me games without knowing what I was interested in first. Since I had never seen the movie back in the day, I may have seen Quest for Camelot at a store and thought that it was some original concept, and if that's the case, my mom probably got it for me because it was in the cheapo bin. Exactly where it belonged. You know how I complained about Mario Land not having any music at its title screen? Well, this game has no music during the intro screens or during the story segments where these big-ass walls of text scroll by. Then it shows these still screens that actually look pretty good, but since this boring wall of text has left me half asleep, I don't really care now. Once you're able to play, you might immediately notice that the main character, Kaylee, looks like Cartman from South Park, and she has this really goofy-looking walk cycle. You have to talk to this farmer NPC to get them out of the way of this bridge, but he refuses to turn around to talk to you. He tells you some stuff about the bad guy, Ruber, how to save the game, and that you should talk to the blacksmith. All the NPCs have these weird hitboxes, so once you find it, the blacksmith, who looks more like a farmer with that pitchfork, immediately sends you on a fetch quest to find his hens. Oh, you need a sword, huh? And the whole town is in danger with no time to spare? Well, I need my fucking hens! Once you find them and return them, you get your sword, which gains experience from taking out enemies, so that's kinda cool. But every time you hit something, it knocks you back a bit, so that's kinda dumb. If you haven't attacked an enemy and they run into you, they just turn around like, whoops, sorry about that. Once you take out all the knights in town and talk to the swordsmith, you're ready to move on to the next area. And anywhere there's a new area, Merlin will be nearby. Not this Merlin. Not this Merlin. Not this Merlin. Not quite this Merlin. This Merlin. He'll block the way forward if you're not ready and will give you hints about what you need to do, and once you beat a boss, you're warped back to his house and you can save the game for free. Oh yeah, did I mention that saving the game costs 30 gems? You can get gems by killing enemies, but just the fact that it costs anything to save the game is pretty asinine. Anyway, you have to go through the castle and get your shield and a grappling hook to find the key to be able to make it to Ruber's spider-laden lair. Your shield does nothing unless an enemy is swinging a weapon at you, and since all Ruber does is this fucking stupid belly bump attack, you just have to swing at him until he disappears? Did I do it? Oh, of course. I should have known that the wall would disappear when I get close to it. You fall into Merlin's house, talk to him, and move on to the next level. By the way, the song in the background here is the same song playing during the boss fight, and there's no victory fanfare or anything. There are only 5 songs in the whole game, and none of them set the tone for intense battles. They're not really that bad either, but I got tired of them pretty quick. The next area is a forest, which is full of these penis snakes, and bubbling water that hurts you and sends you back to the beginning of the area if you step in it. There's a horse in this area who explains that it won't help you until you bring it food. You also have to find the magic stick in order to continue and fight the boss at the end of the level. You need to buy the shovel so you can dig up turnips to give the horse, which you need to ride through this windy section to reach the next section. Naturally, when you make it there, your horse disappears. This maze-like area is where you find the slingshot, which comes in handy later in the game but uses your gems as ammo. You know, the ones you save the game with. So when you make it to the plant boss, you realize that you need the magic stick to prop open the plant's mouth to hit it. After you beat it, you plummet to Merlin's house and then teleport to the swamp. This is where you run into the 2-headed comic relief dragon.
We'll bite your toes and bounce on your belly, so don't bother us! Roar! Roar!
Oh great, so now she'll think we're gonna tickle her to death. I'm sure she's cringing in fear.
Be quiet!
Make me! Why you?
Ooh!
They tell you that you need a special item to cross the swamp. It's blocked by one of the only trees in the game that you can slice down with your sword. When you get it, you can jump on these platforms in the water, but because everything still has stupid hitboxes, this section is really, really, really annoying. When you make it to this cave where the comic relief dragon is, you'll realize that you should have found 5 eggs to give them. So you have to do some more hopping until you explore everything and realize that you can go here to find the last one. You go back in the cave and give the dragon their eggs, but the cave is about to collapse! You have a timer to find a key on one of the enemies, which for me was the one right outside the door. Then escort the dragon out of the cave and back to the area with the last scale so you can move on. You go through another section with dragon enemies to fight a dragon boss, beat it, and you move on to the snow area. This farmer wants you to chop some wood so he can make a sled, which you need to reach the evil magician's lair. But not until Merlin makes you answer some fucking riddles. Is it really necessary to correctly answer a riddle about a goddamn sponge to save Camelot? After you pass this stupid section, you're allowed to go into the magician's cave where you do a bunch of convoluted shit until you find a fish bowl containing a fish who tells you that the magician wants to transform it into a monster. Unfortunately, the magician catches you and a boss fight starts, so if you didn't save before this and you die, you have to start where you last saved, which for me was the beginning of the cave. Go back, take him out, and you trudge on to the next area. There's a bird in this area who dropped his master's magic flute and you have to bring it back to him. When you dig it up and return it to him, you get the lead bracelet to weigh you down through another windy section that leads you to a cave. Merlin tells you that you need a snorkel to reach an ogre deep in the cave, but the ogre placed a bunch of stones around each room that you need to place on switches to move on to the next room. This is pretty much just that bulldozer game from a Windows Entertainment Pack. And I don't want to play bulldozer, I want to stab some shit! There are 8 mandatory rooms and 3 optional ones if you want an extra heart container. When you finally make it to the boss, he's easy enough to beat in one try, and I gotta say, I like his sprite, but not enough to justify the 45 minutes it took me to see it. The next section actually has a pretty interesting idea for a fight. This invincible wood golem needs to be trapped so you can move on, but when you trap him, he immediately breaks the gate and you have to take out all the bushes he spawns in order to hurt him. If the bushes were all hostile enemies, it really would have made this part better, but hey, at least it was creative, and it kinda surprised me. You run into Comic Relief Dragon again, get them some fucking food, and they fly you to Camelot, but not before another boss fight! When you take care of it and reach the town, you need to help this weirdo, Bladebeak. Get some magic seeds for him and he follows you and chops down certain walls, but holy crap does his AI suck. With his help, you find the pet insect to give back to the man who gave you the magic seeds, but it turns out that man was actually the evil magician in disguise. The insect was for his evil potion, and he sends in the guards to lock you up and take your weapons. Of course, there's a key here and you escape instantly. When you get your weapons back, you enter the castle, which has a bunch of keys you need to make your way to the dungeon and fight Ruber's Griffin. It can take a lot of hits, but I got it stuck in the corner and took it down quick. There's another stupid-ass jumping section before another boss fight against this rock-flinging ogre who can't be hit until he's just about to fling rocks. He takes a lot of hits too, but when you beat him, you're warped to Merlin's place one last time before you fight Ruber. Wait, Merlin, what the hell? I can't save here? Well, I guess I better be careful. Alright, well, I'll take this guy out again and make sure to hit Ruber from the side so he doesn't do his belly bump at all. Almost there. Almost! Yes! I did it! Wait, you gotta be shitting me. His meter just filled back up. Alright, let's do this again, you prick. This has to be it, right? What the hell? Now he's invincible! Fuck! So I had to look it up, and to keep my sanity, I had to use save states to get this far again. But you have to lead Ruber above the center stone here, he strikes it, and you win the fight. Turns out this is a reference to the movie ending, but how was any kid supposed to make it past 3 full boss fights and a finale without destroying their Game Boy in rage? This game really wanted to be Link's Awakening while remaining faithful to the movie, but it ended up being a convoluted clusterfuck. Kind of like the Comic Relief Dragon's backstory.
Yeah, easy with the stick, buddy.
What are you?
Well, frankly, we're the reason cousins shouldn't marry.
Ha ha, incest.